And the former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan wound up his tour of Kenya, calling on politicians to mind their language ahead of the next election. Annan spoke exclusively to KTN's Kiguta on a wide range of issues, including peace in Somalia and Rwanda's alleged involvement in the Congo conflict. Here's that interview.
Mr. Annan, thank you for speaking to us. Following your review of our progress in achieving Agenda 4, what do you think are the major challenges to having a free and fair poll come March the 4th?
The mood this time is quite different from 5 years ago. People are alert, they are aware of the risk they run, and they also are determined to take whatever measures are necessary to avoid repeating. So I am hopeful that we will have fair elections, but I would appeal to the politicians and the leaders to also lead and be careful and watch their language and not say things that incite. Of course, I'm also a bit confused with all the party hopping and creation of new parties. If the population are not going to be confused at the time of voting, who is where and which party are they voting for?
There's been concern that the ICC seems to have divided Kenyans and maybe even weakened our ability to deal with organized crime with the gangs that form in a period like this ahead of the election. What are your thoughts on this?
What is important is that now that the Kenyan judiciary is going through reforms, the government, the parliament, and all of them should discuss the question of what do we do to hold people accountable locally. Because that has always been the issue, that there must be a local counterpart to what is going to happen in The Hague, where those responsible are also held to account. And we should not allow impunity to stand. Those who perpetrate violence must be dealt with firmly and not create the impression that it is allowed.
I want to talk about Rwanda, and I know you have an intricate understanding of it from your time as the head of the peacekeeping, the UN's peacekeeping force. We've seen them being a darling of the West and then fall from grace. Do you believe that Rwanda is supporting the M23 rebellion in the DRC?
I understand there is a new report that makes that accusation. And of course, there's always been tension on the border between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. I think if we're going to have peace in the region, it is essential that the relationship between those two countries and governments are resolved peacefully. Many governments are beginning to focus on that issue, and I would urge them to try and resolve the differences as quickly as possible.
Kenya has been involved in Somalia and bringing stability to the region with the taking of Kismayo. Do you see this as Somalia's best shot for real and lasting peace?
I've seen progress being made in Mogadishu, the establishment of the parliament and the election of the new government, the freeing of Kismayo, but it is not enough. We need to work with the Somalis to establish effective government and institutions and get them to work together. Because if we do not do that, not only are the troops not going to be able to stay forever, but when you withdraw, there may be other problems.
And a final question, it's the day of the girl, and since you were UN Secretary General some 6 or so years ago, do you think things have fared better for the African girl?
There are more girls in primary schools now. There are issues of water and others have improved. They don't have to walk miles to go and fetch water. You have 52% of the population here is women. And here we are in Parliament struggling to ensure that they get 1/3 representation in Parliament. But what I have said is when women get organized and realize the power in their numbers, we would not be having these debates. It's the men who will be asking the women to have pity on them.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.